Hello, this is Brandon Pouliot with the Center for Excellence in Teaching. We're going to take a look at a tool called Outcomes in Canvas, which is going to allow us to assess our institutional learning competencies within the learning management system and get that data out and use it for informing choices, decisions, where we are, for competency mapping, for all that kind of stuff. So, first, I wanted to say on our website, home, academics, and then institutional learning competencies is where you can find all this information. I will be adding a link to this to the faculty resources site within Canvas, so that's easy to access for you. We're going to go ahead and open up one of these rubrics. We'll use collaboration. That's great. Here's the collaboration rubric. You see across the top are our levels of proficiency, and below that are the criteria. So we've got criteria and proficiency or competency across the top. Now, what you're not going to see in Canvas, and we'll get to that, are these descriptions here. So you'll want to use these rubrics as job aids as you go through and grade or assess the competency of your students. So I'm here, I'm in Canvas, I'm just in my course. And you can see I've already got some things set up here, including an assignment here, which is what we're going to use for this demo. But I want to go to the tool called Outcomes because I need to pull in outcomes that I'm going to be using before I can use them as part of an assessment strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Outcomes here. You'll see right in here I've got some previously imported ones. We're not going to look at that. If you want to group things together, you can make a group, which is what this is. It's just a folder to organize if you have a lot of outcomes or competencies in your course. But what I want to do is I actually want to click on Find. If I click on Find, it brings me way to the top here under Account Standards. You may see a couple of different accounts up here, but you want to look for the one that is Laramie County Community College. Click on that, and then you can see is another group with our institutional competencies in there. So the rubric that I have up is for collaboration. So we're going to go ahead and import some of the collaboration criteria in to assess on that assignment that we were looking at. These numbers here are just simply the order that they were in. So IC is institutional competency. The numbers here are just to identify. So if I click into collaboration, you'll notice that the individual, a criterion follows that naming convention and then has a .01. And so that just means it was the first criterion on the list in the rubric. So these should match those rubrics that we were looking at. We'll pull that back up in a second. So let's say I want to import these. If I click on it, you can see I don't have all of the information I might like. I don't have those detailed descriptions, but I can see what I'm able to rate things at a 0 to 4 scale, how these things are, how these competencies are calculated. This is on a global basis. So if a student is taking multiple courses with the same institutional competency criterion being assessed in both of those courses, the most recent item counts as 65% of their total competency score, and all of the other ones count for 35%, the remaining portion of that score. Now, if you only have one rating, that's going to count as 100% of the student's competency score. So, for this assignment, I need 1, 3, and 4. I'm going to go ahead and click Import to bring in the first one. It gives me a message that says, "Are you sure?" I'm going to say yes. Notice that if I click Find, it brings me right back to where I was so that I don't have to hunt around for it again. I'm going to click Import again. And we'll pull in the last one that I need for this assignment here as well. Perfect. So I've got all three of those in my course. Now, if I go to modules, I can go to my assignment, or I can also click on the assignments tool, which currently I have hidden, but I can still get to it as the instructor of the course. So this one's an actual assignment. The second one here is a quiz. The next video I'll be doing is going to go over how to attach outcomes to quizzes, so competencies for for your course. I'm going to click on my assignment here. You'll see it brings me in with some beautiful lorem ipsum up there to fill the gaps. And once all this is set up, we're not going to go over setting up an assignment, but we will cover setting up a rubric a little bit. You'll see at the bottom, I can click plus rubric. I'll cancel and show that again, plus rubric. Please take the first step and rename this something that makes sense to you and probably to your students as well. So I've called mine Upper Air Charts rubric. You'll notice that Upper Air Charts is the name of my assignment. We have an existing criterion here. I can click edit. I can put in whatever I want to. I can put in a long description. Update that. There we go. So I've got the small short name and the long description. I can add what these point marks are. So I've got 0 and 5. I'm going to change this to 10 points so that it matches up top here. You'll see that it changes the ratings to 0 or 10. You can add additional criteria and you can duplicate the criteria that you have, so brand new, or duplicate the one you already have. But we're interested in outcomes. So again, this is going to look kind of familiar. If I click Find Outcome, you'll see it brings me into my course's outcomes. That's why we imported those first. And I can click on it, read this again, and I need to make sure that if I do not want my assessment of this institutional learning competency criterion to affect the student's grade, meaning I want contribution just to be an assessment of their competency on that particular outcome, I need to uncheck this box. So uncheck use this criterion for scoring. Once I hit import, you'll see that pretty much the same message pops up again. I can just hit return or click OK. And I'm going to do that for my others as well. For my last one, I'm actually going to leave this checked so that we can see how we can double check if we have done this correctly. So find outcome, my last one, and I'm leaving use this criterion for scoring checked. So I hit import, you'll see it pulls in. This is 10 points up here, that's the whole assignment. This is 10 points up here, but oh, whoops, you see we've got total points of 14 down here. That's how I know I messed these up. So I look down here, I know this is the one that I messed up on, but if you don't know which one you messed up on, make sure you check use this rubric for assignment grading, click create rubric, and you'll see leaving the assignment's total points at 10 and the rubric's total points at 14 will result in a wrong possible score. So I can either change it or I can leave different. I'm going to click change just for the sake of speed. But you notice now I can see that this is the one that I messed up. Because I haven't assessed anybody with this rubric yet, I can still edit it. I can go in and remove the competency that I accidentally set as part of my scoring. Go back in, add it again, uncheck use this criterion for scoring, click import, okay. There we go, we're back at 10. Notice up here it says 14. If I hit update rubric, it's going to give me those options again, change or leave different. We're going to go ahead and change it. Try that again. There we go. Now we've got 10 points here, 10 points here. These very obviously don't contribute to the total score. If I want to view a longer description, I can click here. And so you can see the long description of what does contribution mean at LCCC. If you're going to do quizzes, check out my second video. If you're just looking for how to grade things, that's going to be my third video. And I will try and keep them as short as I possibly can. Hopefully that's helpful.